Hello and welcome back to another episode of Spawn Trap's Hit Pause MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse podcast that doesn't pick the ballroom, we just dance. I am Till. I'm joined once again by Jordan.
What's going on, everyone?
We are mainly talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I know it's not the MCU, technically, but is it?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure. Based on
Yeah.
what we saw from the movie, I'm pretty sure it is. Um, but we're going to be talking about that. Loki's coming up pretty soon. I need to talk to you about if we're going to be able to do weekly episodes for Loki. Because
Yeah.
the release date has changed slightly. We're going to talk about that. There's new trailers out for it. There's a new trailer out for the Marvels, a new trailer and full season out for Am Groot season 2, and a bunch of other updates that we need to discuss. But how long ago did you watch Spider-Verse?
Probably about a month ago now. I remember quite a bit of it though. Like it's and there might be like little like flashback scene things I might not fully remember, but honestly, well, we'll get into the middle, but like there was like one part where I remember being like, "Damn, this is fucking amazing." What's loading right now?
I'm trying to load the trailer.
Oh,
By the
okay.
way, we're gonna have our visual context rectangle not blurred because I still haven't figured out what's wrong with the blur, or it might be blurred. Let me see. It's a little faded. Well, we should be fine. Sony might come after us. I don't know. But yeah, this movie was great. I don't know if I think I like the first movie more. Maybe because it had
Um,
Nicolas Cage. I don't know. But
yeah, I liked this one more.
oh yeah?
Yeah, yeah, I like this one more. The villain, I don't really care for Kingpin a lot. I think that's my problem. I don't really
Mm,
care for Kingpin like at all. I really liked, um, I guess is Spot is his name Spot as
Spot,
or
yeah.
Spot. I know you thought he's like kind of like a whatever villain, not
He
really that
is in
like
the
great.
comics, yeah.
Absolutely hilarious though. Like I know
Yeah.
nothing about this guy, so then their origin, the way they changed it. I don't know if they changed it or if that's like what it's supposed to be.
I don't fully know his origin in the comics.
Yeah.
I just know he shows up and he's just like a joke character that nobody cares about.
Yeah, but that's kind of how he was in the beginning, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
But how he evolves later was super cool. I really enjoyed the guy's
Yeah.
character, and
Yeah, what
I
they
like
did.
the voice actor that plays him. I like too.
Who was the voice actor? I couldn't figure it out.
I don't know. I don't know him
He
that
sounded a
well.
little bit like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, very similar. He is. I'm pretty sure he's the. I only know him from the that Christmas movie I love, Klaus, the one where they deliver
I don't know.
presents. He's the one. He's the one who he does the animated character of Jasper or whatever, and
Don't
it
know
is
that.
awesome. Awesome Christmas movie called Klaus. It's really good.
Okay, I'll have
But
to check it out this year.
the voice actor is really cool. I like that guy. So as soon as he was Spot, I was like Jess. I'm like that's fucking Jasper, and she's like, oh my god, and then we were just laughing like the whole rest of the time that he was
Yeah.
the villain because it was awesome.
There are some significant changes to the comics, but I mean, this isn't really. I mean, there's a lot of inspirations from a lot of different comics, but is
Right.
really its own thing, so it doesn't really matter. Like my brother was asking about like, um, Miles's origins. Like, was the anomaly thing? Is that like from the comics? And I was
Yeah.
like, no. By the way, we're going to be getting into deep spoilers into Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. If you haven't watched it yet, pause this podcast, go watch it, and then listen to this immediately after.
Yeah.
uh, but
No bathroom breaks. Nothing. It's right back to
um,
us.
yeah. But we, so he's asking about like Miles if he's like, um, like from another universe, and if he's a villain. I'm like, well, kind of. It's not exactly that interpretation from the comics. Um, but and I think like not a lot of people will know that Miles has an alternate version of himself that is a villain. Not I don't think it was the Prowler though. I think he was just he was working for Kingpin. And
Mm.
actually, I'm pretty sure his story in the comics was Kingpin's story in the first Spider-Verse, where he
Yeah.
like lost his family and he wanted to find another universe where he can like visit his family and like reunite with them. So it's pretty much they kind of like role reversals there, except like in the movies here, he's the Prowler, which I thought was a nice, interesting twist.
That was really cool. Like the beginning, like we'll start off with the beginning. I
Yeah,
liked the intro to Spot. I thought it was really fun. I like the little fight scene.
it didn't start there though. It started with Gwen.
Oh, it did. Yeah, you're right. No, but Gwen was really cool too. She got in. What did she get? She got the bracelet to become part of the what? What is the group called again?
The Spider Society, I think it
Yeah,
was
I think so.
what's called.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And go ahead. I don't know anything about the leader. I forget his name.
Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah.
Let's see, Spider-Man from the year 2099. Um,
Hmm.
but yes, the Gwen stuff. I like the different art styles across different universes in this movie. Gwen's
Hmm.
looked really cool. It was like all watercolor and stuff. It was very like visually different. Especially after like the first movie, the whole movie was visually different, but then they stepped it up a notch with this one. Um, and uh, they borrow a lot from the comics. She's in the band and everything. The Mary Janes,
Yeah.
um, and her dad's is hunting down Spider Woman. Doesn't realize it's his daughter.
Hmm.
So it's cool they implement all that. The Vulture from like the paper, the Parchment universe or whatever it was.
Yeah.
uh, and then they changed Spider Woman in this movie. Um, I don't know. It's an interesting take because she's like a British she like her origins is she's like a British Hydra spy and then ends up working for Shield and then she ends up working for the Avengers.
Which
So
one was she? I don't remember which one
she's the one
Spider
who
Woman
was
was.
pregnant.
So the chick with the motorcycle.
Yeah.
That was cool. I like that
Yeah.
she used webs and could. I was like, man, those are gotta be some strong thighs to just be able to pick up your motorcycle up with you while you're like swinging
But
around.
I think she's sticky as well. Like all the
Well,
other
that's
spider
oh,
types.
uh, damn. I don't want to sit on that after
uh
her.
but yeah, she in the comics she does end up getting pregnant and everything too. So they kind of like fast forward that with her character there. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, then we visit Miles's universe, and he's fighting Spot in a convenience store.
Which I thought was really fun.
Yeah.
His portals are kind of like they gave me like Doctor Strange vibes, where like he shoots the web and it goes through the portal and comes back and hits them. And
Hmm.
the fight scene was fun. I also thought it was hilarious that Miles just left to do like a parent teacher interview, whatever, for a bit, and then he went back and then they talked about it. He's like, "How did you just leave in the middle of a fight?" He's like, "Where did you even go?" And like that was, I found that very fun and very like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It was kind of like what you said, where like he's kind of like a whatever character. He's not really that threatening. And like they almost added that like Spider-Man left in the middle of a fight and was like, "Yeah, I'll get to you later, dude," and then came back. So
Priorities.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and then what happened after that? So he's fighting Spot. He has that confrontation with his dad. Um, then he's trying to like make it up to them with the cake. But he can't fit everything he wants to say on one cake, so he buys two cakes.
oh yeah, yeah. That
um,
was Go ahead, go ahead.
no, I'm done.
Actually don't remember after that. Like after the thing, I think that's when is that when Glenn or not Glenn? Is that when Gwen
Gwen.
shows up? Does Gwen
Not
show up after
not
that?
exactly. So he shows up to the roof party. His parents are upset with him, and
Yeah,
then he lays in bed because he's grounded. That's when Gwen shows up in his bedroom,
yeah.
and then she's like, "Do you want to get out of here?" She's like, "Is Spider-Man grounded?"
Right, right, right,
Um,
right.
yeah, and then she kind of catches him up with some of what she's been up to.
Yeah. I thought that was so what was what was her job there? Why was she there? Was she to get an
She
anomaly? And which
she
was
went there specifically for Spot because Spot was the danger. But
Okay.
um, I think she went to, I don't know, like she wasn't supposed to talk to Miles, but at the same time she was getting intel from Miles because
Yeah.
Miles like, oh yeah, he's just a villain of the week, like he doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
she obviously told Spider Woman that because Spider Woman's like, I thought you said he was like a villain of the week. So I think she was
Yeah.
supposed to like tail him, figure out who he is and if he's a danger, and then make sure to stop him from causing a or preventing a canon event.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I like that there's canon events in there. Like they have to every Spider-Man has to lose somebody that like shapes them to like the hero they are. Like I find that very cool. Um, and this one I think answered a lot of questions I had with the first one because I was like, isn't there only supposed to be like one Spider-Man in every? Is it every universe or just every world? I guess like every
It's
universe, right?
for this so this movie this it's very strange because this movie kind of sits in its own world, but at the same
Hmm.
time pretends it's part of every other world. So
Yeah.
it's because there's a lot of cool stuff that they implemented. Yeah, that theory and everything sounds really cool for this movie in this universe. But when they're trying to also implement, hey, this exists within the multiverse of the Sony Spider-Man movies and the
Yeah.
MCU and the animated shows and the video games and the comic books and everything that you've seen,
Yeah.
there comes complications with that. So and there's like a few other examples I can say like how that's kind of messed up, but I wouldn't take anything that this movie
Like
has
too
laid out
seriously.
as as a greater impact on any other medium.
Right.
But yeah, in this universe, they're making it seem like one Spider-Man exists in one universe.
Yeah, because like that's why I always saw like one Spider-Man per universe whenever I know about multiverse stuff. There's always like different variants of people, so that's why I was like, why was there two Spider-Man in Miles Morales' universe, and then Peter Parker dies in his? So it was
Mhm.
so confusing. So like
Not to
when
a
they
comic book reader because there's multiple Spider people across different
right,
universes. So
but that's what I thought. I thought it was
yeah,
one per universe, but then I thought it was. Then I was like, okay, so there's this Miles Morales and Peter Parker in the same on the same
yeah.
planet in the same universe. I was like, that's crazy. I didn't know. I was like, I didn't really know the rules of that or whatever. But I thought that was cool. Like this movie had me through everything, even when Spider-Man and Gwen go into the thing and they see all the other Spider-Mans and they talk about the all that. But
Mhm.
it was not until um, would you say the main Spider-Man leader's guy's name was Miguel?
Miguel.
Miguel. So Miguel, it's not until he name drops the fact that he's uh, uh an anomaly. Like he's like, dude, you're an anomaly. Like you
Yeah.
were never supposed to. That spider was in this universe is an anomaly, and it was never supposed to bite you. Because I was like, why does Spot keep saying that he invented him and stuff? So the spider. So is it after when that in the first one when that thing explodes or while it's exploding? Is it
From what
Spot?
it's I'm a little bit confused on that too, but I think from what I gather, I'll probably have to rewatch the movie and like listen exactly what he's saying.
Yeah.
But because there's like two different ways that I can interpret it. But from what I gather, he was working with Kingpin on the Collider.
Right.
And then he brought a spider from another universe that came
Into
through the
ours.
Collider, and then it
Yeah.
found Miles and bit him, and that's what caused all of the first Spider-Verse movie and
Right.
him becoming Spot.
Yeah. Yeah, that I thought was really cool. So that just basically means that the spider that bit him was an anomaly. So his entire DNA was like an anomaly. So when they went through that whole thing, I was like, whoa, this movie just got like way like that's when the movie was like, dude, I love this movie. This movie was so sick. Like I was like,
Really good
that's
writing,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So the rest of it was really well done. And then obviously after that fight scene, he goes back. He has the that cool spider AI like read his DNA. Like as soon as that was happening, I was looking at Jess. I was like, "Do you think it's gonna send him back to the universe that spider came from?" And Jess was
I
like,
uh
"Oh
I
shit!"
I didn't pick it up until his mom was like, what's with your hair? And I'm like, fuck, he's in another universe.
Yeah. I didn't know what was gonna happen
Yeah.
like yet, but I knew as soon as he was going in there, I was like, "Do you think this thing is gonna read his spider DNA?" I was like, which I find weird because he would still
That
have his own DNA too, but
yeah.
it read his spider DNA.
It would, but
So
I think it reads the spider DNA, obviously,
yeah.
yeah.
So it
Um
sent him back to that one. So I thought that was I was like, oh, it's gonna just like, God damn it, how did you even know? I was like, I don't
I
know, man.
know. I didn't even
I
pick
was like,
up on
that's
that
so
originally.
then when she's talking to him and she's like looking,
Yeah.
she's like Jess is the same way. She's like, what'd you do to your hair? Jess just looks at me, she's like, why do you have to ruin movies for me? I was like, I fucking knew it. I was like, it's the wrong thing. And then his uncle was alive, and I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Um, and I knew the only other big reveal was that they were. She's like, even then, the uncle was like, oh, like the uncle I think said something about him wearing something weird or his hair as well. It's like the
Yeah.
uncle knew right away that it wasn't him.
Hmm.
So I knew the Miles in that universe was going to be someone. I just didn't know he was going to be like the Prowler as well. But it was cool
Yeah.
seeing the the parallels, I guess. Like the his uncle or his dad was up on the mural instead of his uncle. So it was
Yeah.
cool seeing that as
If
well.
his
Like that
uncle was
was
around to raise him instead of his dad, like that's
mhm.
how he grows up differently, yeah. Um I had a thought and I completely lost it. But that's all good stuff. I never picked up on that. Um at that time. It was just when she was like, what did you do with your hair when you went
Yeah.
into the room?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's in another universe."
Because I
Um,
thought, yeah, that was I love that they did the Spider-Man point though. They had to
yes,
bring
they had to put that
they
in. Yeah,
they had to. I was like, that's so good. It's like Spider-Man's loose. He's on the run. Everybody stop him. And he's like, you. Like I was like, ah, this is hilarious. I was like, that was great.
I wanted to bring this up at during one podcast when we started like hearing about casting for this movie, but
Yeah,
it was either like the movie was like just coming out by the time we ended up doing another podcast. I'm like, there's no point in saying who this is because the movie's like gonna be out.
yeah.
But Scarlet Spider, the the one with the blue hoodie, no sleeves,
Hmm.
that was Andy Samberg.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's funny. Um, I
We
think
were
there's
just
probably some other like guest voices too that I don't realize right away, but
there was another guest voice that I think I recognized, but we just finished watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine all the way through. So as soon as Jess heard it, she's like, "You don't know who that is?" And I'm like, "No."
that
And I was like,
not
"She's like,
Andy
you don't
Andy
get."
Samberg.
Yeah, it was Andy Samberg.
Oh,
She like
okay.
I could not tell who it was, and I was like, "No, who the
Yeah.
hell is that?" And she's like, "We
He
watch
had a
him
different
every night."
voice though, because he's like,
Yeah,
I'm like super serious and really muscular and like,
yeah. But she's like, "It's Andy Samberg." She loves Andy Samberg, so she
yeah,
immediately knew it was him. I could not tell that was him, and I was like, "Okay, cool." But there was somebody else I recognized, I think, instead. Um, but I thought it was cool that they mentioned, like Miguel mentioned, he said the Spider-Man on Earth. What's our Earth in the MCU? But he mentions the one with him and the
yes. Oh, you
Wizard.
did pick up on that. Okay, so yeah, he said Doctor Strange and that nerd from Earth 199999,
Yeah, yeah.
which
So they
is
did.
the MCU, but not really
Mhm.
because now the MCU is known as Earth 616, according to several characters in the MCU and Kevin Feige. But that's also the universe of the comics. And also, Iman Vellani says that that's the universe of the comics, not the MCU. So it's very confusing.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell our universe is. I'm wondering if our world is gonna become a incursion because this too many things are like
Yeah,
colliding and shit.
everything does, yeah.
Yeah.
But not only
But
that,
yeah,
so this movie crosses with so it mentions the MCU a couple times. There's also Donald Glover's character who is a live action Prowler who's like captured
yeah,
in the Spider Society.
yeah,
Um and his character was in the first like Spider-Man Homecoming in the MCU.
yeah,
But he wasn't the Prowler. They were just kind of hinting at that at the time.
yeah.
So
And
it's
this one
cool
he's the
that they
Prowler, right?
yeah, in this one
Was it?
he's full costume Prowler, which is pretty cool to
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
There's also crossover to the Venom universe. He goes through one of the portals and like sees the
the store clerk.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
So
funny because was it who is it that says it? Is it Spot
Spot,
or is
yeah.
it? Yeah,
He's like, you seem
'Cause
like unfazed. Like you seem like you see this kind of stuff all the time.
I know. There's something like he's like, I think this would be really weird for you, and then he like looks at her face and he goes, or not. Do you see this kind of stuff all the time? Like it was, yeah, yeah. That was cool. Yeah, because I was like, wait, what isn't she from? And then Jess was like, Jess goes Venom, and I was like, okay, now I know you're a Venom fan, and she just like lost her mind. Um, and I think there's on the pictures in the background of the computer. Don't they show Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man?
Yes, they've shown. That's the other thing. They're showing crossovers to both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universes in this movie. They're also showing several different comic books, TV series. They had the one animated Spider-Man that people lose their minds over. I thought it was an okay series. I think it's called Spectacular Spider-Man. Is that really short Spider-Man that walks into frame? It's a good series. I don't know if you want to watch, but it's like people are like, this is the best Spider-Man thing ever. So it's cool that he made an appearance, I guess. They showed like panels of comic books, like different comic book events.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I was saying that to Jess. I was like, I don't know any of
yeah,
these, but I'm assuming all these are different variants of comic books, which you can all just.
yeah.
It's the same thing with the art styles, with the Spider-Man with the guitar and all that. I was like, these are all just. Was
Spider-Punk,
that
yeah.
Spider-Punk? Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, I think the character's pretty like true to the comic book, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so just them mentioning like, oh, this exists within those multiverses. I'm like, a lot of these already had their like multiverse of events and like contradict a lot of the stuff in this movie. That's why I'm like, don't hold any weight that this movie has in
Yeah.
shaping the rest of the multiverse. For like the live action stuff, it's doesn't really matter. It's
No,
just its own animation thing.
I think this will just be its own like
Yeah,
trilogy. It'll probably be a trilogy that kind of just let's take stuff from everything and then
yeah.
that'll be it. So it probably won't
There,
affect anything
there's
else.
also one other thing. There's the video game Spider-Man, who made a brief appearance in this as well. You kind of saw his comic. You kind of saw his suit there, and he had his like 3D look, like he was rendered from the video game. And Genki was playing Spider-Man, which is weird, on the TV when Miles is like, "Hey, can you like look out for the Spot guy, like this villain?" I don't know if you
Oh,
remember that. Like he went into his
I
dorm
did.
room and Genki was like sitting on the chair playing Spider-Man on like a PlayStation, which is funny. But the
Yeah.
PlayStation Spider-Man was in the Spider Society. He was part of the Spider-Verse or Spider-Geddon or Spider-Verse 2 or whatever in the comics. So he's already been in his own Spider-Verse event and met all these different people in a different way, like a different variation of these people. So it's
Yeah.
another reason why it's like, okay, that character is clearly not canon to like the Spider-Man game and comics.
Trying to
Just
think
weird to
of
think about.
yeah, no, I was trying to think of what else like really jumped out at me at the thing. I loved the Spider-Man in that guy's world. He was using like bangles.
The
Or
oh, the Spider-Man India?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Is that like what he goes by? Spider-Man India? I
I
thought it
think
was in
that's what
like
the comic is. I think it's
oh, okay.
Spider-Man India.
Yeah, he had like these bangles and like he was like using those like to
Aviter, I think his
like
name
ring.
is. I don't know.
Yeah, he was really cool. I really liked him. Like his new little group that he had was really sick. Especially like the ending of this movie, like
Yeah.
was so hype with everybody coming in. He's like, we got some new friends and some old friends, and I was like,
Yeah.
God damn it! Why you gotta wait? Why you gotta be done? I was
Yeah,
like,
that was a
why?
good cliffhanger. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a son of a bitch cliffhanger though, man. I was
Yeah.
like, really? And with the writer's strike, I was like, when am I gonna watch this? Like 8 years from now?
Well, that we're going to talk about that later on. But his voice actor is the guy who plays Dopinder from Deadpool. I don't know if you
Yes,
caught that.
I think that's
Yeah.
who I spotted. Yes,
Yeah.
and
But
just got Andy Samberg.
that character was great. I love that character.
Yeah, I liked him too. Spider Punk was pretty cool too. I like that he didn't want to go after Miles. He was like, "No, I'm out. Tell the society I quit." And he takes off his thing and throws it.
Yeah. I didn't really
Yeah, I
get to
thought,
ask my brother about it because I knew like just Spider-Punk's character and everything that he was going to say. I'm like, I wonder if my brother's going to like this character. He's
yeah.
talking about like taking out fascists and stuff like that, and
Yeah. Dude, it's hard to understand
um,
him though, man. It was really like you needed subtitles
because
for
of
that
his
guy.
accent.
Yeah, you needed
Actually,
subtitles
his
for that guy.
uh that voice actor was played damn, I forget the character's name. He was in Black Panther though. Um he wasn't in the second Black Panther. It was Okoye's husband.
Is that him? Is
Yeah.
that him? Quaid's husband? Okay.
Yeah. That was really
Cool,
cool.
cool, cool. I like that guy. He played Spider Punk.
Yeah.
Jesus, man, his accent was crazy. I could understand him in Black Panther. I could not understand him in this.
He went with a
This,
like a really thick British accent, yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, it was way too much to understand. Jess was like, "What the hell is happening?" I was like, "I don't know." It was like it took so long for us to try to piece together what he was saying. It was like after he said the sentence, it was like my brain had to unscramble the sentence in my brain. And I was like, "Oh, he
Yeah.
said." We had a delay with his words. It was crazy.
We didn't even talk about
Um,
Peter Parker yet. Peter Parker has a child now.
oh yeah, with
May
Mary
Parker.
Jane.
Yeah.
Baby has powers. Very cool.
Mhm.
Um,
We saw at the end. I think all the characters from the first movie were back in that last shot,
yeah. Was
right?
Gwen wasn't on his team, was it?
Yeah,
Oh, she was
she was
assembling
leading
the
the
team,
team.
right?
Yeah,
Right, because is he still trapped? He's
he's
trapped,
still
right?
trapped in Universe 42.
But he's strung up with the Prowler, right? The Prowler has him tied
He
up in
was
the garage,
yeah
I think.
yeah the Prowler and Aaron Davis have him
Yeah,
trapped in wherever that was, like a warehouse or something.
yeah. No, it was very cool. Honestly, I thought it was really well done. I think it had a very fun beginning. There's a little bit with just a lot of like information that's kind of like not boring, but it's mostly just like MCU shoutouts and stuff. And then once they name drop the fact that he's an anomaly, like the whole rest of the movie is just like
Yeah,
action and just go go go. So yeah,
uh,
I had a lot of fun with this movie.
awesome. I don't know if there's anything else really left to say. Let me try to. I don't know what's going on with the camera and everything, so I'll try to fix this as we talk. Um, but yeah, is there? I don't know. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up on Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse?
I don't know what else to really bring up. I think we didn't really talk about the spot though. I don't really. He basically upgraded himself though by going. He went through time, found another. What is that thing called? Collider. He found
Yeah,
another collider, and then
that was
added
super
more.
cool when he went into the India. What was the New York called in that universe?
I don't. I
Um,
don't remember.
it was a really cool name. Oh, it's like a combination of like Mumbai and Manhattan, I think. Um, but yeah, Spot walked in and created like or like he portaled his way into the like a force shield that they
Yeah.
were in, and he's like goodbye, 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 and everybody like just teleported in that room out of there. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I didn't know that Miles Morales couldn't. I like can if, when he goes invisible. Is he like one of the only ones who can go invisible?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unique to Miles.
Yeah. That's sick. So he was hiding behind Gwen. Can he hide from other spider senses invisible then?
That's a
Like I want
good question. Because
like I wonder
I
because
imagine they
Gwen
would be able to sense him.
yeah, because Gwen didn't. maybe as long as he's not a threat,
Yeah,
right? Maybe
she wasn't in
if he's
any danger, so
yeah. So like he's not as long as he's not threatening. Because like to me, I was like, man, why didn't Miles just go invisible and then run from all the spiders? Because he got off Gwen's senses, but not
yeah,
everybody else. But he didn't even try. It felt like in the other one. But
that's a good point.
um,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that
yeah.
was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Loved it. Um, Definitely looking forward to the next one. We got some new trailers and stuff, but the big thing that's coming out soon is Loki season 2. I don't know if you watched the trailers or not. I
I've
told you
watched all
what
the
to.
I've watched all the other ones. I didn't watch like how new are these other ones?
The first one I think came out a while ago, and I think the other one is there's like two of them. So the other one's pretty new. Um,
I think I watched them both.
why? What happened to the? Oh, I'm on the wrong scene here.
This one you're watching right now, yeah, where they go
Yeah.
all jittery all over the place. I did watch this one. This Loki looks crazy.
Yeah, I have the same kind of vibe as the first season when they released that trailer. But I have a different mindset now. That first trailer that came out for the first one, I
Yeah,
was like, I don't like I like Loki, but I'm not like a huge fan of Loki. So I'm like, yeah, I'm like I guess I'm looking forward to it. Not really. Like there's the other stuff I was looking forward to, like WandaVision, all that other stuff. So
yeah,
I'm like, I'll watch it, but I watched the trailer, I'm like, I have no clue what the hell is going on. This show looks super weird. So I'm like, I don't know what's happening in the show. Uh, of course, watch the show, love the show. So of course I'm looking forward to the second one. This one I feel the exact same way. I have no idea what the hell is happening in the show, but I'm
yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm excited for it. I just hope it goes into like I need it to go into a direction where I can wrap my head around it because I'm tired of being confused at the end of Marvel stuff. Like where just something
This is
happens and
definitely going to be one of those where it's like we're probably going to be confused. If you
yeah,
yeah. Like I feel like I'm super into the time travel stuff.
yeah,
Always have been. So this kind of stuff, like even like the confusing stuff, it's like okay, it really like makes me think and everything.
yeah,
But I feel like for most people, it's just like what's happening? Like he went like they fought at the end, and now the TVA is different, but it's supposed to exist outside of time. So how does that work? Um,
yeah.
but I'm looking forward to what kind of nonsense the show brings.
Yeah, I'm excited for their duo back, but I want more of the villain. Like I like um what's his
Jonathan
name?
Majors,
Yeah, what's the
Kang.
Conqueror? Kang. I
Yeah,
love Kang so much, so I hope it's like a I hope we learn more about him and like how they more like came to be. Like I just want to know more and more about like the Kang stuff. Like
I think the show we will. I think they're gonna dive
yeah,
deep into that character.
yeah.
I
Give me
I
more Kang Dynasty stuff. So
I think we're gonna build them up. I don't think it's gonna be, we didn't really get much of Thanos until Infinity War, and it
yeah,
might be a similar situation. I mean, we're getting a lot of Jonathan Majors, a lot of teases and stuff. We got a lot of him in Ant-Man. We're probably gonna get a lot of him in Loki.
yeah,
I have a feeling we're we're not gonna get like the full extent of his character until the Kang Dynasty.
yeah,
So I think it's gonna be like this, like kind of like teases until then.
yeah.
Um,
Trying to think of what else. Um,
yeah, I'm wondering like how the time travel works here. I think we're clearly looking at different variations of some of these characters, like Mobius and some of the other ones, because
yeah,
he controlled the elevator with his foot, which is different in this trailer. And obviously, like at the end of Loki, he didn't remember Loki, so it's like he's a different Mobius. So I'm wondering like
yeah.
how all that's gonna work too. Also, there's the guy from I don't know what the new stuff he's in, but he was in Indiana Jones, I think. That one guy. Obviously, he was the little kid in Indiana Jones, like grown up now.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember his name. That's him there. Oh,
Yeah, I don't remember his name either, but
I think I did recognize him, but
yeah. But he's in
um,
here. There's a featurette where he's saying like he's such a huge fan of the MCU and he's glad to be a part of it finally.
that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Um yeah. Anything else to say on Loki?
No, but I will try to see if like we'll try to work it out. Maybe after the podcast here, we'll see how. I think there's 6 episodes of Loki,
It's
six
gonna
or
be
eight.
six, yeah.
There's
Eight?
six
Yeah,
in
I
the
don't think
first
there's
season.
eight. I hope there's not eight.
I'm trying to remember what was in the first season. Was there only 6 in the first season?
First season is six, yeah. Disney
Okay, so
tries to keep the Marvel shows, if they're hour-long shows, they try to keep them to 6 episodes.
when's the release date for Loki? Well, we'll do it after. But
It just changed actually, so let me bring that up.
I was like, if we have 6 weeks, we could try to do one episode per week before Loki comes out. So
Yeah, the new release date, and there's a different time as well. I think they used to release at midnight,
hmm
so now it's gonna be Thursday, October 5th at 6 p.m. Pacific, which would be 9 p.m. Eastern. So it'd be 9 p.m. our time on
Even if we
Thursday,
don't,
October 5th.
yeah, if we don't do it weekly, maybe we could just do two. So we'll do like I'll watch the first three, you watch the first three, and then we'll do a podcast, and then we'll do the next three, do a podcast, and then we'll
Yeah,
hopefully
we
have
could try to.
three or four.
I would like to try to do it as weekly as we can. If we're
Yeah,
not, because there's going to be a show where it's about like theorizing what's happening, what's going to happen.
yeah. Oh
Um.
no. This one I'm talking. This look season two we'll do that.
Oh,
I was talking
okay.
about.
For the
I was
first
talking about.
season,
Yeah, first season.
just
Maybe we'll just watch.
watch it all, and just talk about the season as and
Oh yeah,
more.
we could do that too. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
just do that then. Yeah,
I'll
we can watch
binge.
that.
I'll binge it. Like I have no problem rewatching that show. That's a great show.
Yeah, there is the last week of October. I am on vacation, so I won't be able to do
Oh,
one that week.
second week of
So,
October.
oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, we'll work it
But
out.
it's fine for
So,
me. Like I can do the content. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, that's fine. I'll see if I can get like Matt or someone to join, and then we can if you're not available.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So we might do something talking the first season Loki, and we'll try to do the weekly stuff for Loki season 2. I think we can pull off the weekly stuff for Loki season 2. I feel like our
I think so.
times kind of line up perfectly. Luckily this time around, it did for Secret Invasion. Luckily as well. I don't know how well
Yeah.
we can keep that going, but we'll see.
Yeah. I think as long as I get like a Monday, Tuesday, we'll try to release it. Unless you need to do it like Wednesday, Thursday night or something. You said you have
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday off, right?
I in the month of October I will have those days free. For the
Okay.
most part, I'll be streaming and doing stuff still, but
Sure.
I will work stuff around our podcast. So however we need to do the podcast, I'll figure everything else out.
Sure.
And we got a new trailer for the Marvels. Did you watch that one?
I watched.
Is this
Well, I've seen two, so I don't know how new this one is, but
I think this is the
it's not.
second trailer.
I think I watched them both. So if it's not new in like the last week or two, then I've
Yeah.
already seen it.
Okay, yeah,
think
then you would have seen it, yeah.
I think we talked about this one last time. I think we talked about this one after Secret
I
Invasion.
don't think we talked about this one. We talked about the first trailer for sure, because this one has I think this one has some spoilers for Miss Marvel, the show. So that's why I was wondering if you watched this one or not. But so there's a shot where there's a bunch of flurkins floating around. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Spoilers for the
Yeah.
Marvels. Yeah. So yeah, I remember watching this. I'm like, oh, there's some scenes and stuff I want to talk about. Now I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, I thought we talked about this one. I could have swore, but I think maybe that's
Maybe
what you
we
talked
did,
about
I
at the
don't know.
end, where you said you forgot something you wanted to add to it. I think,
Maybe.
but I think
I'm looking forward to this movie. That's really the biggest thing.
yeah, me too.
I
Me and
like
Jess
all
was-
these characters, so
yeah.
there's
It might make me watch WandaVision again just so I can kind of remember that other girl's powers because I kind
Monica,
of
yeah,
forget.
yeah.
I kind of forget hers, so I might have to watch.
They didn't really. I'll save you this time. They didn't really go deep into her powers into that
Yeah.
show. So
I'll
I
just watch
feel
the
like
scenes that she uses them, so I can kind of remember.
I feel like they're gonna introduce Monica and immediately she's gonna like explain like what her powers are, like so
Yeah.
that audiences aren't confused. It's gonna be like the first introduction to her character for a lot of people who didn't watch the show.
That's okay. They did the same thing with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch and the Age of Ultron. They were like, he's fast and she's weird. And
Yeah,
it was like,
exactly,
there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah, I think they'll do the same thing with Miss Marvel as well. They kind of do it in the trailer, like, oh yeah, my powers are this, your powers are that.
Yeah.
But I would also recommend people go watch Miss Marvel. I feel like it's going to be the more important show of the two to watch before the Marvels.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff, and again, this is going to be spoilers for the Miss Marvel, which you haven't finished watching. But I feel like you've already been spoiled on this, and it doesn't matter.
Sure, go ahead.
You know about. I think my cousin spoiled this for you. I don't know if maybe you just forgot. Miss Marvel's character background has been changed for the MCU, where she's not an Inhuman. She's something else.
Yeah. In from the show, yeah, she's she gets her powers from the bangles, but I can't remember what she is that allows it.
Never mind. I'm not going to bring this up. We'll save it for another time.
You could tell me what she is. I remember she was with all those people. She came with like some people that also had powers. I can't remember what group of
Yeah,
people they
yeah.
were though.
That's not what I'm talking about. So
Oh,
let's
where did this?
we'll
Where did
save
this?
that.
Wait, where does this one come from? Does that come from the end of Marvel?
The end of
From
Miss Marvel.
Fine, I'll watch the show. God damn it! Like,
Yeah, it's important. Iman
yeah,
Vellani is co-writing or I think she has. I think the comic's already out. It must be already out. She co-wrote a Miss Marvel comic, basically rewriting the character to fit more in line with the MCU. And Marvel does this a lot. But it's cool
mhm,
that she is so invested in the character and comics that she wanted to be involved in sort of like rebooting the character for the Marvel comics.
yeah,
There's the biggest, I think the more interesting part of the story though is that before this happened, before this was announced, Marvel had a big event for Spider-Man. I'm not caught up in comics. I haven't read these comics. I'm so
yeah.
far behind. I need to catch up at some point. But there's a time in college where I like read through like a bunch of fucking Marvel comics, and that's like how I ended up like up to modern day comics. But uh Spider-Man was having like a big comic book event. There's a big tease, like somebody that Spider-Man knows, somebody in his life is going to die. So that was like the
Yeah.
big tease. Ended up being Miss Marvel, who a lot of people are like, she has like no, like barely any connection to Peter Parker. They've teamed up a few times. They were briefly part of the Avengers. Sort of like, why was she like thrown into this comic book just to die? And there's a whole other like subsection of people that are I whether it's justified or not, bringing up Miss Marvel being um a Muslim woman child being killed off for the story of the like important white character in the comics and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think like I kind of get that argument, but I feel like I'm so used to comic books doing this, no matter who the character is. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter who the character is. They kill people off. This is what they do. You know what
Yeah.
happens, Jordan, when they kill people off?
Bring them back.
They bring him back. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, she has a movie coming out, and
Yeah.
her show was very well received, and the like the character and everything, people love the character. That she's showing up in animations,
Yeah.
merchandise, everything. I'm like, the comic books. You know how much the comic books matter to Disney, Jordan? They
Probably very
don't.
little.
They
Yeah, they don't.
don't.
Yeah.
They're stories to produce the toys, the cartoons, and the movies. That's all they
Yeah.
are. They don't make Disney any money. They keep them around because they fund the creative process of everything else that does make them money.
All they do is they take like 40 different stories and they take the
Yes,
best parts of each and then weave a tale through that.
exactly.
That's like you guys come up with stories and then we'll
I
sort of fucking
yeah,
use it, sort of kind of use it.
I've seen so many times in the Marvel comics where there might be an inspiration for the character for the movies or whatever,
Right.
and but it's clearly different from what's in the comics, so they revert that character to what they appear as in the movies, so that
Yeah.
there's stuff that aligns better with each other, so people see them in the comic books and they're like, oh, I know the character from the movies, and then everything's kind of like the same, right? They've done that so many times. They've introduced characters that didn't have a comic book origin in the movies and put them into the comic books, so it's everything kind of reflects the movies at that point. So when they made this change to Miss Marvel, I'm like, they're gonna make that change in the comics. And when they said, "Hey, we're killing off Miss Marvel before her movie," I'm like, well, clearly they're gonna be rebooting that character to be more like her movie version. And sure enough, like people are freaking out. I'm like, guys, it's gonna last a month at most. She's gonna
Yeah.
be back. Don't worry about it. Sure enough, she's back. She's back in the comics. It's just funny seeing people freak out. I've seen people freak out over Wolverine, over Spider-Man, over like so many different characters dying. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
calm down.
Um, shit, I'm trying to think of what else I was gonna say. Um, what is this you have written here? Are you done with the Marvels?
Yep.
What is it you have here about Agatha? They've changed
Want to
the
jump to
title of
Agatha?
they changed the movie 3 times. The title of it.
Yes. So, hold on, I'm
Yeah, the
switching
last.
scenes here. Um, let's get rid of the visual context rectangle. We don't need it. Agatha, House of Harkness was what it was originally called. Was
Right.
changed to Agatha, Coven of Chaos. Thought it was a a proper title change because who wants to watch Agatha, House of Harkness?
Yeah,
And now it's being changed. What's the new title? I don't even remember.
the Darkhold Diaries.
The Darkhold Diaries.
Yeah.
I don't understand. So this is a show that's still happening. Um,
Darkhold Diaries is a pretty sweet title though, because it's
you
has
think
to do with
so?
the Darkhold book, and it's
Yeah.
diaries of stuff that because she had it right. So I don't know. That's pretty. I like that title. House of Harkness was kind of annoying. Coven of Chaos is also not bad though. I don't mind Coven of
I,
Chaos,
I'm
but
I'm preferential to Coven of Chaos, but I don't have a preference in
yeah,
general.
I like Darkhold Diaries. It probably is a better name I think than the other two, but it just seems weird that they changed it so many times.
We still don't know much about the show, other than I'm assuming it's a comedy.
It's got
Um,
yeah, it's her. It's got to be.
yeah, we know a bunch of actors that are going to be in the show. We don't know what their roles are, except for Sashir Zamata. Probably mispronouncing that. We know
Yeah,
now that she is going to be playing Jennifer Kale from the comics. Don't know anything about this character, other
she
than
looks
it seems
cool.
like, yeah, she looks cool. It looks like she does magic. I don't know if
Yeah.
she's a witch exactly, but
She's got a
um,
very Magneto. I mean, I know she's got I just
kind of like
realized
the
actually, right?
Wanda
It is like the
hat. Yeah,
Wanda thing, but it's very similar to Magneto's helmet, I find,
yeah.
like the beginning. And I don't know if that's just because
I don't think she
she's
has
his
any
daughter.
relation. No.
No,
So
with the other one.
Magneto's children are Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Polaris.
Yeah. But
Um,
so Scarlet Witch, like I wonder if she designed her helmet off of his, like at least from the comic books. But I just realized how close it actually like it gave me Magneto vibes.
does look very similar. Yeah.
I think it's because it's got the color. This one looks similar to it, but I know it's her
Yeah.
looking helmet, but I don't know. It's weird.
I've said this on the McClunky Squadron podcast when I was a guest on those.
Yeah.
I don't see a way that Marvel can properly introduce Magneto into the MCU unless they drastically change that character
Well, he's like
and his
way too
origins.
overpowered by
Not
controlling metal, isn't he?
not that, Jordan. I don't care that he's overpowered. He can be overpowered. That's fine.
Yeah.
He's way too old. His
Yeah,
backstory is that his parents were in the Holocaust. I'm
that's
like,
true.
this doesn't reflect anything today. It's gonna be like a period piece about this mutant that the world forgot about,
Yeah.
like this terrorist mutant that people forgot about.
I wonder
Um,
what you could do to change Magneto. Like, there's all kinds of different ways. They could say they froze him for a bit. That's the only way to
I
put him
don't
out
know.
was to
I
freeze
don't
him.
even know what they're doing with mutants yet. Like we still don't
Yeah.
know. The first like maybe we'll get some idea for Deadpool, but it's hard to
Oh,
say at this point.
I saw some news on Deadpool. Just like a very quick thing. I
Okay.
saw that Carl Urban from The
I
Boys.
think that was disproven. What was the
Oh, what?
source?
I
You
don't know.
gotta be
I
you
just
gotta
I
be
just saw
careful
it.
on X.
Yeah, I saw it on a few things. I take everything when I read it as just a cool idea. I don't ever think
Um,
it's true until I actually see it. But I saw that he might play a version of Wolverine, which I
I
think
did
would be
read that. Yeah.
sick because he looks like a awesome Wolverine. And I think the best way to introduce a new Wolverine would be while Hugh Jackman is also on camera with him, right? If you just give me a new Wolverine movie and it's
I don't know.
Carl
I'd be
Urban.
fine with that. Yeah.
What's that?
I would be fine with that if they introduced it without Hugh Jackman.
Right. Right, but I just find everyone, people like if we just saw Tony Stark now, we saw a new Tony Stark, I'd be kind of pissed. But like if you showed me a version of Tony Stark where Tony Stark, where Robert Downey Jr.'s version runs into him, I
Mm.
feel like I'd be like, okay, they kind of know each other. I don't hate this as much. So I think that'd be cool to see Carl Urban and Hugh Jackman go at it and fight, and then whatever happens with Hugh Jackman's character, if he doesn't want to play it anymore and we see another variant of Carl Urban, that would be sweet because it'd be like, well, at least it's kind of like passing the torch, so it's not just like
Yeah.
doesn't feel as taking over. um which I'm very interested to see how they're going to do, because Deadpool 2 clearly talks about how Wolverine upped the ante and went and killed himself from his movie.
Hmm.
But they're gonna play together in this one. So what is it gonna be like? It's gotta be like time travel then, right? Like I think we already talked about that. It has to be
Uh,
like a time travel thing.
yeah, it'll be time travel. I don't know exactly what they're doing though, but I'm sure. I think both. I can't remember who's uh directing it and writing it, but Ryan Reynolds is involved with it, and the other creative team at Marvel. So
Yeah,
I imagine that they're going to very cleverly work out how this works with everything to keep Ryan
yeah,
Reynolds involved in the MCU and to have everything make sense in the most hilarious way possible.
yeah. They're also
Um,
looking at him like he's got his old yellow costume and he looks younger, like the way they've done the makeup and stuff. So it's definitely not going to be the Logan. Like
no,
it's definitely not going to be the Logan one. So he's
unless
unless maybe we see a version of him, but
the source from where that rumor is from giantfreakinrobot.com, and they say that their source is our trusted and proven source. So take that for what it is.
yeah,
That's
and
why I
that's
never include those stories into these podcasts, because I'm like, I know that's just like a lot of it's just bullshit clickbait.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although I still think he'd be a sweet one, and that would be very cool to bring him in. But again, like I don't like if it's not real, I don't care. Like I'm not gonna be hurt about it. So
Mm-hmm.
if it's not gonna be him, then whatever.
All right.
Um, what else do we
Uh,
have?
so a lot of Marvel stuff has been delayed on both for the MCU and for the Sony side as well. Um, I will try to bring up. I actually summarized everything in the document here. Um, I don't have the original dates written down. It's in the article in the link, but I think just to give an update for like Phase 5.
Yeah.
What If has been delayed to around Christmas Day.
Mhm.
When was it before? Was it around Christmas Day next year or this year?
I don't remember. I honestly, I thought What If was supposed to be in November. I could be wrong. That's
So
what
that's what it
I.
might have been. It might have been in November, and now it's been delayed to around Christmas Day. Obviously Marvel's shuffling stuff around to fill some time in between the writer's strike and everything. But that's been delayed. Echo has once again been delayed. It was supposed to launch all at once in November. I think it was November. But now it's been delayed to January.
Now, wasn't Echo first supposed to be like? Wasn't it supposed to come out first, like in August or something?
It was supposed to come out like a year ago.
Oh,
So, yeah. Um, X-Men 97, I don't know when the original date for that was, but it's been pushed to early 2024. That's the animated show that picks up from the 90s animated show where it left off. Um,
okay. I care nothing for that,
yeah,
I guess.
Agatha Darkhold Diaries has been delayed to early fall 2024.
Oh, that's a long time for that. Jesus.
The rest of these have been taken off the schedule, which is so disappointing. Ironheart, which I think is done, is off the schedule.
I
Daredevil
don't.
Born Again.
I
Sorry, go
didn't
ahead.
like Ironheart. I didn't like Ironheart's character that much in the thing. I liked the
In Black Panther?
actress. Yeah, I liked the actress, but I hated the suit so much that I didn't care about her anymore.
I
I thought
was
the suit looked
I
so.
I like she in the comics she starts off in an Iron Man suit. And then she makes her own Iron Man suit. I'm like, all right, that's cool. And then she makes her own suit. I'm like, sure, she's got to have her own suit. And her own suit, I hate. And then she's had different variations, and I've always hated them. The movie version, I was not a fan of that either. But it
Looked
looked
so
better than the.
stupid.
Yeah, I'm like, it looks better
Yeah.
than the comic book one, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping she has a better suit in the show.
Yeah,
Um,
just do it right. I don't care if they whatever remove it
yeah.
from the schedule. Just do it right and take your time. I don't
Yeah,
want some more
she's really
garbage that you
really
need
cool
to do.
character, and I'm very much looking forward to that show and them interpreting that story for
Yeah.
a series. And the villain is one of my favorite Marvel villains, so I'm looking forward to it. Daredevil Born Again, which was in the middle of filming when the writers' strike and the actors' strike happened. It's off the schedule. Um,
That one hurts
yeah,
because I was excited for that.
yeah. And also in the middle of filming, which it feels like they've been in the middle of filming forever, but Wonder Man, which I still don't think has been officially announced by Marvel, is off the schedule.
Yeah.
So
You guys working on it? No. But it's off our schedule.
there's also been delays from Sony. I'll pull up the article here because I don't have the dates here. So this is from IGN. So newly dated. This brings up a bunch of just Sony stuff in general, but I'll keep it to Marvel. The untitled Venom sequel has been. It doesn't say if it was been delayed or pushed up or what. It's now dated July 12, 2024. Madam Web has been pushed up. It is now on Valentine's Day, 2024. So we're going to be getting that one sooner. And then Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse is now was dated for March 29th, 2024. It is now off the schedule. Kraven the Hunter was supposed to be October 6th of this year. That's coming out very soon.
Yeah.
It has now been pushed to August 30th of 2024.
Oh, dude, that's like fucking a year. That's like what?
Yeah.
10 months from now?
Yeah.
Jesus. I was really excited for that trailer. The one that I thought was Spider-Man, everyone was in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. The other thing that has changed in the Sony release schedule is that I already showed a tease of it, but the big Spider-Man villain movie that we're all waiting for, that is so popular that everybody can't wait for, El Muerto. Bad Bunny's no longer going to be playing the title character.
Hmm.
The very popular Spider-Man character, El Muerto.
Oh,
Everybody knows and loves.
yeah. Oh man, darn. I'm trying to remember where
So
I know this. I'm trying to remember where I know this actor from though.
he's Bad Bunny.
Don't know
He's
who Bad
a
Bunny.
musician, I think, or singer.
I
Um,
don't know. I don't know this
he is
guy.
going to be playing this character who is, I guess, a Spider-Man villain.
So this is just a
He
singer who they just decided to make just give him an acting career.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
singers do in
yeah,
Hollywood.
that's my favorite thing ever. I love that. They're so talented.
um, I don't have any. I mean, I want to see what Sony's like Spider-Man universe ends up being, and how everything works out. Even though I feel like most people don't have faith, I'm enjoying most of the stuff so far. Um, I have no interest in this because being a huge Spider-Man fan, I didn't even know this character existed. So like,
Yeah.
I hope they
Um,
get somebody uh, that is good for the role, I guess.
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Like why does Spider-Man has so many like wrestling things? There's
He
always like a
died. Well,
wrestling
he
ring.
started off as a wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how his character started in the comics. I mean, we get like teases and like references to it in the movies, but we don't actually ever see that.
Yeah,
Um,
the guy. This is basically just the one where he went into a wrestling ring, and the first Tobey Maguire one was like there was that, but didn't he
Jordan,
fall in? He fell into a ring in Homecoming too, didn't he?
no, that was in the Amazing Spider-Man.
You're right. Yeah, that's Andrew Garfield.
That's where he got the idea for the mask because I saw his face.
Yes, that one. That's cool. I like that they have throwbacks like that throughout the movies, though. But it's
Yeah.
interesting because Spider-Man's mask does look like a wrestler if you like, if you get that, if you put it next to a not, a luchador.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't have a slide for this, but just to add to Marvel kind of like, or Disney trying to fill time for the strike and everything.
mhm.
Um, there, Matt actually brought up a great point in our Discord. Just announced Marvel's going to be doing Werewolf by Night again, but it's just the same short movie, but in
Yeah.
color. So I think they just colorized it and they're just re-releasing it. I'm like I'll watch it, but I feel like part of the charm and everything was that it's black and white, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
I feel
Yeah.
like
I'll
adding the
give it a
color kind of
watch.
ruins it. Matt's just saying like, yeah, they're just doing this so that they have stuff for the strikes. I'm like, that's absolutely true. That's true.
Yeah. I am Groot.
You want to talk about I can't. We skipped
Yeah.
over that. Thank you.
Yeah.
You watched it. I didn't. How was I Am Groot?
I think season 1 had more interesting shorts, but
Yeah,
it's still worth a watch. Like, did you watch all the first season, or
I
did you
did.
not?
Yeah, I
You
did.
did. Okay. Are you
This is
gonna
my first
watch
time
this,
seeing
or
this trailer. I don't know, to be honest. Like
it, it
I watch everything MCU
it's less
related.
than 10 minutes of your time?
I know. It's just that the first one don't. It's not that it's a time commitment. It's just that I don't want to.
Yeah. It's like you put it in the
That's
back. You can put it in the make a pasta and put it in the background,
sure,
and
sure.
you just make it while you're watch it while you're eating.
Yeah,
You can microwave something and you can
yeah.
finish it.
Sure, I'll watch. Maybe I'll watch it after this podcast. I don't know. But
Um,
like I
it's
didn't the first one was not for me and I'm like I don't even
yeah.
know if I want to watch more of these.
I think
So I
they're mostly for kids, or for
yeah.
like my mom loves them, my grandma loves
Oh
them,
yeah.
my hairdresser cares nothing about the MCU really.
Yeah.
MCU,
But
I
I
don't know why I
love
said
Groot.
hairdresser, but the woman who cuts
Hairdress.
my hair, yeah, whatever.
Sure. Sure. Barber.
What- yeah, I remember. She doesn't really care about him or care about the
Yeah.
MCU stuff. Like, she watches it a little, but like she literally has a Groot ring. She had a Groot
Yeah.
necklace, and she's like, I told her about it, and she lost her mind. She was like, "There's Groot shorts."
Yeah.
Like, she was like just losing it. I was like, okay, just easy with the scissors.
It's like there's a few other things I feel like kind of have that phenomena. The Grogu from The
Oh yeah,
Mandalorian.
yeah.
The what are those little yellow guys called again? Why am I blanking on them?
Minions.
The minions, yeah.
Yeah, everything that
Um,
needs something adorable that they can just
yeah.
market to her toys,
Even if
man.
you're
That's
not a
all.
fan of where that came from, because the minions
Yeah.
came from what's that movie? It was like
Despicable Me.
Despicable Me, right? I don't hear
So
anybody
those are
ever
great
talking
movies.
about. Really?
I
Okay.
I love the Despicable Me
Okay,
movies. I don't know
you're
if
the
I care.
first person to tell me that because nobody talks about Despicable Me.
Yeah,
I feel like it's not something that people know, but people
yeah.
know about the Minions.
Well,
That
I mean, like, I've watched them. I've watched the first one and I
yeah,
liked it, and I had no, usually the sequels of animated stuff aren't usually not that much better. So I
right.
had no reason to go watch the others. But I had like nephews and nieces who loved them, so I'd be stuck watching them, and me and Jess would just quote the shit out of them now, because like we watched the Minions do their little dumb phrases all the time, and now it's
Yeah.
like, now I'm like, Despicable Me. I was like, I will watch the shit out of that because I don't want to watch the Jungle Book again. So let's watch Despicable Me. So
The jungle.
like,
What's the
I was
Jungle
like, I don't
Book?
want. It's just because like it's like little kids. It's like, let's watch the Jungle
Okay.
Book or Despicable Me. I'm like, okay, well, let's watch Despicable Me because I don't want to watch the fucking
Right.
Jungle Book.
Yeah.
So like, Despicable Me is like the top of my like animated list to watch, unless
Yeah.
except for like the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. That one is my. I'm like, let's
I
go.
still
Let's
need to
go.
watch those.
You haven't watched any of them?
No.
Oh my god, chill. We're gonna do a podcast just so you can tell me about
Just
how much you liked How to Train
uh,
Your Dragons.
I'm
The
sure I'll like it. Yeah.
best trilogy ever, man.
This is my first time
For
seeing this
anime,
trailer. Like I didn't even watch the trailer,
for
but
Despicable,
no for
for
Groot.
Groot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, so sure I'll watch these. But yeah, these aren't for me.
yeah. I just thought they're just okay. Like I threw them on. Me and Jess
Mm,
watched them. I have a ha. That's like as far as I get with laughing. But it's there is a space ice cream truck, which is pretty cool.
That was in the trailer. Yeah, look cool.
Yeah, that's what I just saw on the screen there. Yeah, there's a space ice cream truck, and I was like, that's pretty dope. This one I don't recall. I think you hear Rocket's voice in it, and maybe
He was in the first one as well.
yeah, and maybe Drax, but I think just Rocket.
Interesting.
I think Rocket was only says like one line in this whole season. The
How
first season
was
they say
it? Batista?
I
feel
don't
like
know.
I feel like
don't
Bradley
think.
Cooper would do whatever they ask for, like a quick voice section.
Yeah,
session of payday.
I don't think Batista was in this one.
Okay, somebody else
I think
voicing Drax.
I, no. I don't think Drax talks actually in this one. I think it was the first one. You see Drax's boots walk across
Yes.
Groot, and
Yeah.
he doesn't talk at all. Yeah, I think it's just Rocket because I think that's like the last episode. Rocket has a phrase again, and then it says at the very end, it's like Bradley Cooper Rocket. I'm like, he said like fucking one word. Yeah, like I said, it's worth a 5-minute watch. So I'm glad they're not like 20-minute episodes. So
Yeah. You want to pick something from the list here under more?
more.
Otherwise, I'll pick something. Let me fill the time here. Did you know that there is not one, not two, but 3 MCU books this year?
There's what? 3 MCU books?
Books, yeah. That Marvel's released.
Oh
So
yeah, I knew the
there's
Scott Lang one. You told me you could actually buy that.
there's a Scott Lang one. I kind of want to buy
Yeah.
it. The ones I'm more interested in though,
I'll get it for you for Christmas.
thanks.
Yeah.
The ones I'm more interested in are one that I've meant to bring up in several different podcasts, but it's been like such low news that like it wasn't priority. There's like a behind the scenes of like the MCU, like how it started and like the story of how it went up there, because there's like a lot of like behind the scenes political drama that I think is really like juicy and interesting, and I want to know more about that. So I feel like that would be an interesting read just to go through there. But I think the more important one that was more recently announced, is the Marvel Cinematic Universe and official timeline. And we kind of know what the MCU timeline is based on like, Disney Plus has like watch stuff in order and everything. But there's a little bit of contention with the MCU and amongst fans as well. Where does all of the non-Marvel Studio stuff that is supposed to be, or at least originally was, marketed as part of the MCU, where does that fit into the timeline? And is it in this book? Because I feel like if it's not in this book, I feel like that's a pretty definitive statement that those, like the Netflix series, the Hulu series, ABC, Freeform, all that stuff does not matter in the main MCU timeline anymore.
Yeah. It seems like a book that I would want to look at first and make sure it has everything in it before I buy it. Because if I'm not happy with it, I don't want it. If I'm like, no, this is I don't
like
follow your...
they had like a behind the scenes like trailer for this book, and they had like Kevin Feige talking about it and everything. So this is the official, like this is official Marvel Studios timeline book. What's interesting is I feel like they might just focus on the Marvel Studios stuff, because there's a page in the Amazon preview. There's a page for the Hulk specifically. And this image is a little bit small on your screen probably. But do you notice something about this picture? An absence of something that's in this picture? There's no Edward Norton anywhere.
That's what I was gonna say too. I was like, other than Edward Norton not being there, I don't know. But he's I don't know. His Edward Norton follows this one because obviously this guy is here. What's his name? What's this?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like they have one shot of the Hulk from the Edward Norton movie, and it looks like it's kind of like edited a little bit, but I might be wrong. But then they have the Abomination, the original way the Abomination looked, not how the Abomination looks right now. And you might be thinking, oh, maybe they haven't caught up to the current stuff. No, there's She-Hulk pictures here.
Yeah.
There's nothing from Abomination. Well, you know Abominations and She-Hulk.
Yeah. I see. Well, the Abominations. I've seen that first movie. I know he's in
Yeah.
She-Hulk. I saw him in. He was in
He looks very
Shang-Chi.
different between the first Hulk movie.
Yeah, Shang-Chi.
And
He looks like he has like his gills and shit. Like
yeah.
he's like he looks way different. But this, I think they just didn't put Edward Norton in there because like I don't know if they had a falling out with the guy or
But
whatever. But they don't.
just for me, it's just like if you're going through all of the Hulk's origin and timeline in the MCU, I think you can't just like breeze over the Incredible Hulk and have just like
Maybe they can't put his face in
two
it.
shots from the movie there, and then
Yeah.
everything else is just not.
Maybe they can't put his face in it. Like maybe they can't put a picture of Edward Norton without his like consent or something. You know, can't. Just
Well,
make
I
him
feel
look-
like if there is one issue, it would be that was it Paramount or no Universal? Like it would be an issue with Universal, but they have two shots from the movie from the same Universal movie in this book. So yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it is with Edward Norton himself, but I feel like
they're showing you that the
show.
movie still follows suit with this,
Yeah.
but this just because they don't need to tell you. That'd be like if you told me all about, you know, everything to do with Rhodey. You don't need to tell me that he got recasted from the first movie to the second. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Like I don't care. I guess like you don't need to show me that there was two different actors who played Rhodey. We all know, and if the studio doesn't want to give him, you know, I don't know if you add his face into the book and then you got to pay him out for part of it or something, or
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know how all that kind of stuff works, but you could probably use Abomination and Hulk because it's CGI, and that way it shows about the movie. But if they put a face of Edward Norton, then it's I think you're changing like
Right.
you're going into legal stuff there probably. So
Right. I'm just wondering how like if they're like if it's an intentional kind of thing to kind of just gloss over, which it may not be. You're completely right. It may not be. I'm just saying like how are they also going to be using that mindset with everything else? Is there nothing that's going to be in here about Agents of Shield, about Agent Carter, about the Daredevil or any of the other Netflix shows? Is that going to be the case in this book? Or is it just gonna be the Marvel Studio stuff?
what they should have done also is in this picture they should have put like the was it Mr. Blue? They should have put Mr. Blue in there if he was if they were thinking about coming back to him later.
They are, yeah.
So, yeah, so they should have put him as a photo in here, and then like I don't know, like
it mentions it.
Yeah, I have it on the big. I have the picture you put as a big screen here, so I'm just I was trying to read it, but I'll zoom in on it later. But
yeah, I don't see anything about. There's pretty much two panels on here, and I don't see anything mentioning Mr. Blue.
Yeah, this is one page though. Who knows how many pages of Hulk stuff they put in here?
Yeah, I'm sure they have like different kind of categories in the timelines because this seems like just a page on the Hulk, whereas I think I saw another image on like where the movies take place.
Yeah,
there's like an overall thing and then a character thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would like a character thing, an overall thing, and just like this one as like a quick let me see it all whatever, and then like if you go through pages that tells me each spot in detail. That'd be kind of cool. So
I'm interested in that book. I might buy it, like just to see. What else?
The two that I was curious here is what does Kevin Feige and Jon Favreau talk Iron Man after 15 years? What's
a while ago they did a video. It's 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
They're just discussing. I would recommend checking it out. But they were talking about like the making of Iron Man and like how it started and where it ended up. But like stuff like Jon Favreau getting involved, hiring Robert Downey Jr. It was like a risk at the time, and just like how the MCU started, pretty much. Yeah. So it's an interesting, like the 20-minute video. If you want to check it out, this was I don't have the date here, but it was a little while ago. I wanted to bring this up on a few podcasts ago.
What a like huge payoff though, eh? Where they weren't sure about hiring Robert Downey Jr. and then just like pretty much shaped cinema. Like now, like the big
Yeah.
blockbuster movies, there's basically like a Marvel movie. Like everything else is sort of talked about, unless it's like it's just like kind of swept under the rug, unless it's like the
But
new
you got
movie
stuff
that's
like
between.
I don't know how well Oppenheimer did, but it seems like Oppenheimer is like an example of a movie that can still be a blockbuster without it being a Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's got
I don't know
Robert
if it
Downey
was
Jr. in
though.
it though.
Uh,
But
but
yeah,
I
like Barbie and Oppenheimer, they were like
yeah
clashing heads. But like, how often do we really like? It's only when nothing else is in the theater, like no Marvel movie is like hitting the theater, do I hear about the other movies. Like I never know what else is in theater unless it's um
there's people with other
like
interests other than like Marvel movies. There's people that
no
can't
Marvel
stand the
only,
shit.
just Marvel always.
There's
Yeah,
people that
no,
can't stand
for
it, and they're
sure.
like, "Oh, there's this other big movie I'm super excited about, right? What'd you
Yeah,
break?"
I just I saved my headset, but I dropped the stand, so it was a win
Oh,
actually.
okay. Uh,
No, that is crazy. Like it's crazy to me that like people I don't know. It is weird when people I'm like, you don't even know what movies like what Marvel movies in theater right now, and they're like, no, I don't watch any of that. And I'm like, how do
yeah,
you even avoid it? Like my like phone and stuff, like I know it's conditioned to what you look at, but
yeah,
it's like I can't even avoid anything now. My phone just sees everything from the from Marvel or Star
yeah.
Wars or Jurassic World, whatever, any of the big stuff.
I would agree. It's hard to avoid, but we are in like we're delve deep into that, so our algorithms feed us that stuff.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I feel like for a lot of people who don't know the stuff that don't watch it, they just say, "Oh, it's a superhero movie from a comic book. I have no interest in superheroes," right?
yeah, yeah,
When like a lot of these movies do follow the same sort of superhero movie formula that's like a cheesy comic book thing.
yeah,
But a lot of them, have more thought and heart put into it. I think such as the first Iron Man movie um, or like Black Panther, um, that have directors and people involved who really know the character origins and how to make that work for general audiences,
yeah,
so that it's not just a comic book movie, it's just a good movie. Um, but it's also a little daunting when there's over 20 movies of an interconnected
yeah.
universe, you
I
know?
I know I know people who stopped. I know people who stopped like once Iron Man did his snap. They were like, I don't need to I don't care anymore about any new characters. Like I've this is where I was
A
following because
lot of
my
people on the internet
yeah,
say that those people made the right choice.
yeah. So that like I get that, but I know people who even like fewer people who don't really uh follow it that much. They
Hmm.
watched the first Avengers movie and then they went back and watched each person's, you know,
Yeah, they watched the Avengers movie first.
they watched the Avengers
Yeah.
movie first because they're like, hey, this is supposed to be a big movie and there's a bunch of superheroes in it. Let's go see it. And then like, oh, these guys had stories before. And then they go watch the stories. They're like, oh, that was nice. And then they
Yeah.
don't watch anything else. But I'm like, that's cool for just to like get the quick stories and stuff. And then the Avengers, but like, I don't remember where I was going with this already. But pretty much it's just like, yeah, like I know I liked it when I didn't know when I was going to see the first Iron Man movie that it was going to lead off into other things. And then people
I
told
didn't
me like
know either. I knew like I was in that universe or I was in that world online
yeah,
because um I watch it's just like a traditional thing.
yeah,
It was like on my birthday every year there's a superhero movie. Let's go watch it. So that's like a traditional thing. And it's just like it sucked because I knew from like comics and stuff all these characters talk to each other. But they
yeah.
didn't in the movies because so many different studios owned the rights to different movies, right?
Yeah.
So it's
I'm
like
trying
Marvel had
so
Spider-Man, Fox had Fantastic Four, and like all this other stuff, right? I'm like, it sucks that we're never gonna see a proper like Marvel connected
yeah,
movie thing. Then Marvel Studios comes out and says, "Hey, we're gonna start making our own movies." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. What do you have the rights to?"
yeah,
Like, we have Iron Man. I'm like, all right, cool. And then like we're gonna be doing another Hulk movie. I'm like, you just made a Hulk movie. What are you talking about? And it's like, then I saw Iron Man. I didn't even realize there was gonna be an after credit scene, so I didn't see it in theaters. I heard about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm like, oh shit, Avengers. And then when I saw the Hulk or the Incredible Hulk, I'm like, then I watched the end credits for that. And I'm like, oh shit, they're actually connecting Iron Man to it. So yeah, I was kind of the same way.
Yeah, I didn't know about after credit stuff either. I was like everybody else, where I watched a little like 30 seconds of credits while I was
Hmm.
walking, and I'm like, if something else came on screen, I was like, oh, hang on,
Yeah,
all right, cool, and then I left. I didn't wait for the next like whatever. So, um,
it did
I
make me
think
realize that there's been some superhero movies and stuff before the MCU that have had end credit scenes that I didn't know about when I watched them the
yeah,
first time. Like going back to those movies has been interesting.
I agree. I think that happened to me too. Trying to remember which one it was that I was. I think I saw Iron Man with some friends in like
Mm.
high school. And I was for a birthday, so we just all left after. And then someone's like, "Yeah, you didn't see they
Yeah,
talked about was it
Samuel
the
L. Jackson.
yeah they did talk
Yeah,
they talked about Nick Fury, and then they talked, I think, was it which one had Bruce? They talked about Bruce Banner. No, not Nick Fury. What's his name? The governor
yeah.
or the
In the
colonel.
Incredible Hulk, Robert Downey Jr. comes into the bar where
Yes.
William Hurt's General Ross was drinking
Yeah.
a very green alcoholic drink for some reason,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "I hear you have a big problem." He's like, "You should talk." He's like, "You should listen. We're putting a
Yeah.
team together." He's like, "Who's we?" And then they've retroactively said uh, that Tony Stark got kicked out of the bar and then bought the bar and then bulldozed it.
Yeah. So uh that was the one. That was I didn't know about that, so I had to look up that up later. And then it was fuck, what was it? I'm trying to remember what.
The next movie in the line would be Iron Man 2.
Yeah, what? So it was Iron Man. Uh, Iron Man 2 came out before Thor and Captain
Mm-hmm.
America.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I definitely watched Iron Man 2. Then I remember seeing Thor, and I remember it was like months later before I went and actually watched Captain America First Avenger, because I loved Cap, but it was something about it being in World War II that it didn't draw me in.
That's what Captain America is.
I know. I think I saw the trailer for Red Mask, and I thought Red Mask looked so terrible, like because I think his
Red
I don't
Skull.
know, yeah, Red Skull, sorry.
Yeah.
And I was like, that looks silly, and I don't know what it was. I had something going on. I didn't go watch it till later, and I was like, this
Yeah.
was actually really good. And then I was like, holy shit, they're combining them all. And then the Avengers, like all of us went and saw. I went with you probably, right? Like we probably all went
Probably.
together.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
probably went together. Yeah.
yeah. I was like, what?
I
That was so
before Captain America, before Chris Evans as Captain America, I was not a fan.
no.
I no, I did not like Captain America as a character. I've always thought he was dumb. I watched the first movie and I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I still didn't like. I still didn't wasn't like super like hyped up about Captain America. And then the Avengers comes out, and then Winter Soldier comes out, and I'm like, damn, Captain America. Okay, I've completely shifted on my thoughts on Captain America.
Yeah, because I thought the same thing. Because I had
Yeah,
always loved Cap in the games. I love the shield that just bounces around. I love that shit in video games.
yeah,
So I always had a good time. Yeah, it wasn't until I think Captain America 1, I was like, that's a pretty good movie, but I didn't get enough of like
yeah.
the Cap that I wanted. So when it came to the Avengers and him being like the leader,
Hmm.
and then yeah, like you said, Winter Soldier, I was like, I love him. I was like, this is fucking sick. So Winter Soldier
Yeah.
was so good.
Speaking of video games, not MCU related, but I just a public service announcement right now. Um, the Marvel's Avengers game is on sale right now everywhere for like $5. And
Yeah,
I know it's
really?
not a popular game. A lot of people don't like it, especially for the multiplayer stuff. Here's the thing: the story is worth $5. Everything else you get in the game is free now. The DLC has always been free, but like all the cosmetic and stuff is all free. It's delisting in a matter of days. It's leaving uh like digital by the end of the month,
What?
and they're not making any more physical copies, so this is going to be a game that's It's good. It's in the bargain bins right now. It's super cheap because nobody's buying them. But if you want to play the game, if you want to play the story, it's gonna be hard to play it afterwards. So get it for cheap right now for $5. Play through the story. I think the story is worth $5.
I don't know how to buy it. My Xbox says to play it because I have it downloaded as with Game
I
Pass.
own it. I own it on Xbox, but I don't know if you open it up in a private tab, it should show as $5 because that's what I did. What I would say is get the game on PlayStation because PlayStation has Spider-Man and the other
Okay.
platforms don't.
That is cool, but I don't have a PlayStation. But that is sick though.
Yeah,
I will try to buy it on right now on my Xbox because I have it
awesome.
installed currently. Do you get all the cosmetics for free too?
Yep.
So I can play as
I think there's
Ragnarok
some.
Thor.
I think there's some like limited time exclusives that they had for like bundles or something.
Yeah.
Or like I don't know. I think there's like a few things that might not be available, but pretty much everything else is available. Like just unlocked for you. Some things you might have to just play to unlock, but for the most part, you buy the game, you have everything in the game. They've always released everything for like all the DLC for free, so you were
Yeah.
getting add-ons like add-ons to the story for free, and then everything else was just cosmetics if you wanted to buy it. Um, Obviously that and the game not being super well received did not benefit them enough to keep going, but also it's a licensed game and the developers got acquired by a different publisher, so a whole bunch of things ended up with that game's downfall. Also Guardians of the Galaxy will probably end up having the same fate because same situation. License
That
IP.
game, that story was amazing. That
Yep.
story was better than the Avengers one.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians, like
Get both
after I
games.
beat, yeah. Well, what's that?
Get both games because
Yeah,
Guardians of the Galaxy
yeah.
will end up getting delisted. If it hasn't been announced yet, it will. It's a licensed IP. The developers got acquired by a different publisher. That publisher's not doing very well, by the way. They might start selling stuff off. They're definitely not going to renew the license, so
Which
that game's going to
publisher
be
is
hard to
that?
get to. I think that was Eidos Montreal that did uh, Guardians of the Galaxy. They got acquired by Embracer Group, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point whenever we do the main Spawn Trap podcast. Same with Crystal Dynamics, who did Marvel's Avengers. So it's two Marvel licenses for two former Square Enix developers who are now at Embracer Group, who's struggling financially. So yeah, those both those titles are going to go away. Get them while they're cheap.
Yeah. Let's see it. Like the Avengers one, I had a good time playing the campaign. I will say there was moments I found it very slow, and I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like a huge fan. But the story was good, the cinematics were good, and I did like that it had like a lot of end game content that you could like play with your friends and stuff. Nothing crazy, but it was like fun.
It was
Um,
grind. I agree with the criticisms. It was a grind Destiny like kind of gameplay, and it
yeah.
turned a lot of people off. I
Um,
had fun with it, but
but the Guardians, I wish had more of an end game story because there was like nothing you could do once you beat the game. You just could just
yeah,
play the game again. So like even when you made money in the game, there was like a currency thing. You only really use the currency for achievements
yeah.
or like otherwise you just
I
lost it. There was nothing to
yeah.
do with it.
I think the end game was that you can choose different options in the story. It's like any
Yeah,
other like Telltale choose your own adventure kind of game.
right. The
Not to be confused with the Telltale Guardians of the Galaxy game.
the that Guardians of the Galaxy game though was amazing. I love the campaign. I did what you said. I think Mike I think it was Mike sent it to me on Amazon that the no that was a different game. That was Back for Blood. But I did what you told me to do. I bought I have it.
Oh,
I have
mine's behind me somewhere on the
I was
shelf.
like I bought mine. I was like mine's
Yeah.
sitting right here cuz I literally had this I think I just took it the other
I
day,
yeah,
but
I bought it because it was on game. I played it on Game Pass when it was on Game Pass, and I'm like, I like
yeah.
this game. I will definitely want to play it again. I know that it's not going to be available forever, so I'm gonna buy
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah, I did I bought I played it. It came on Game Pass. I played it. fell in love with it. Then Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out, and I went, fuck, I want to play Guardians. I went on
Yeah.
Xbox, and it was off Game Pass already, so I went and bought this because I was like, I want to fucking play it again. So,
Yep.
yeah, that was great.
All right. How much time you got? Because we got like other random things we can talk about if you want.
We did the Werewolf by Night color thing. What's the Cat Dennings say?
She says, it's a really brief thing. I'll bring up the article because I don't have.
I just love her, so I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I can read off what she's saying. So this is from Fandom Wire that I have the article. Basically, she's just saying that she had 2 short scenes in Thor originally.
Yeah.
So she wasn't supposed to be in the MCU in general. But it's because of her friendship with Natalie Portman and their like chemistry and everything together on set that I guess it started including her character more in the movie, and
Yeah.
they brought back her character for like other things. So what she say? She says, I think I found it. My part, Darcy, was originally 2 scenes. She was literally just an intern, just there to kind of bounce off of other people. I was already like, it was the best day of my life. I could not believe these people hired me. Like I duped them somehow into hiring me. I walked in the room very shy, and Natalie came in and sat on my lap because we're friends, and that's how my friends and I are. I think our friendship started to affect them with its purity and love, adding slowly Darcy became a little more involved, and I was like, why are they adding me to scenes? And that's kind of what happened. Friendship magic is the reason I'm here today.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
That's cool. I like her though. She's really cool.
Yeah, I think that was I think I saw that like just yesterday is when I added this. September 17th. Yeah, this is a brand new story. Um there's a lot of stuff about I think just a very important thing. This was like stuff I was slowly adding to Discord to talk about, but here's the culmination of it is that Marvel VFX workers have unanimously voted to unionize with IATSE. Um, so this
Just
is
a quick public announcement. I just bought Marvel's Avengers Definitive Edition, so we can play that now, too. So
all right, cool. I can finally go through some of the campaign stuff. I still haven't played through all of the Black Panther stuff, and then there's like 3 other characters that I missed out on.
me neither. I
Um,
hope this comes with everything.
yeah, it should come with everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, Marvel VFX workers unanimously vote to unionize. So this is a big deal. However, this is not like a big portion of the VFX for Marvel, from my understanding. This is like an in-house, smaller VFX studio, but it's still
Yeah.
a big deal that they unionize because I think this is the first step for all VFX workers unionizing. Because I think we've brought it up a few times. There's been just stories about VFX workers being under like extreme working conditions and not getting paid very much and being on strict schedules and everything.
Yeah.
And this is a step towards, hey, we need better working conditions. We need more time to work on stuff. We actually need to be paid properly. We need breaks and all this other stuff, right? So this is great. Probably means a slower production of movies and stuff, but maybe that's for the better because of how much people have been criticizing VFX in rushed movies, especially like superhero movies like this for the past few years, you know.
All right.
Um,
Yeah.
um, so from what my understanding is, Marvel likes to, um, for a majority of their VFX works, they outsource to other VFX studios, and that's where like a majority of the visual effects stuff comes from. So this doesn't really affect that yet, but
Hmm.
it's just an important update. There's also something from today that I saw that I included it here, and I think this is also just like an important add-on to this. Um, so if I can just find the point in the article, there's a Marvel VFX worker who started with them on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They're still working with them. They're working on the new Loki season. But I did not have a chance to read through all of this because I just saw it today, and I thought it would be important to like bring this up as an add-on to that story.
Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't put them on blast, but their name's on the screen here. But they're a VFX coordinator. They are VFX coordinator on the upcoming second season of Loki. They told IndieWire, and I think this is like an exclusive interview, that when she first joined Marvel on Falcon and Winter Soldier, people worked 75 days in a row and only got time off when, quote, you had a mental breakdown, which is crazy. She says, I don't know how this is acceptable. I don't know how you can work people like this. It was the first ever Marvel TV show. Break on that. It was supposed to be. So this is the first one that went into production because it was the first one that was supposed to be released. But
WandaVision?
yeah, because of COVID and all the delays, it ended up being WandaVision that came out first.
Yeah.
But anyways, and I think Falcon Winter Soldier was more of a world. They had different locations that they were shooting. They actually, like in the script, they were supposed to go somewhere else, but they were clearly in a different part of the world because they couldn't go there because of COVID. So there's more like production delays on that. But yeah, she goes on to say it was during COVID. There was a lot of things that didn't work in our favor. It didn't stop me from coming back to other Marvel shows. And those were way better. So I don't think it's a Marvel thing, but on a show-to-show basis, things can really go horribly wrong. I don't want anyone who comes into VFX to end up doing what I had to do on that show because it's not humane and it's not normal. So
That is crazy.
something I'd bring up on the stuff that VFX workers currently experience. So right now, we're seeing a writers and an actors strike. VFX artists don't have that luxury right now because they're not unionized. So this could change that. So when we have like poor working conditions like this, they can strike and make change so that people are paid what they're worth and aren't overworked.
Yeah. That's crazy. Special effects people, like, they go to school and they have to do so much detail. Like, that is crazy. The job is insanely difficult to like make that. Like, to make something for when it goes like when they go hard, like they make making Wakanda look like Wakanda doing like Thanos. Like Thanos looks like, you look back at some CGI of characters and you're like, that you can tell that looks fake. But you look at Thanos, like I look at Thanos and you can see like every muscle and vein detail on his arm. Like, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I don't know anything else that you want to dive into right now. Or save for another time. Like I stream in the morning, but like it's not a big deal.
Pretty much went through everything on this list. So your more section.
Well, not really. So there's
someone passed away.
There's a sort yeah, I can get into that. This is Jamie Christopher, who has worked with Marvel for a long time. He was supposed to be the producer of the upcoming Fantastic Four movie as well. So yeah, he just passed away. Marvel had a little like remembering his work on their website, if you want to check that out.
Okay, I will.
Other this is all the VFX stuff. If I can go back, one thing I think we talked about briefly to each other, but not on the not on the podcast. It was brought up in an interview that Anthony Mackie originally auditioned to be Black Panther, or like he was trying to be Black Panther and he was trying to get that role. They called him up and they're like, "We want you to be the Falcon." He's like, "Really?"
Yeah, I think we did talk about that. I don't know if I don't know if it was on.
I think we talked about it briefly to each other, like on a chat, like on a call, but I don't think we actually ended up bringing it up on a podcast. I just think that's an interesting story. Just like,
I think,
can you imagine like Anthony Mackie being Black Panther?
I think Chadwick Boseman kills Black Panther so perfectly
Yeah.
that it would be hard. But honestly, I love Anthony Mackie as the Falcon. Like he has that soldier like role to me, and now
Yeah.
he's gonna be Captain America. So I mean, it paid off for him. So
I kind of want to watch rewatch the Falcon and Winter Soldier because maybe before Captain America comes out.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, we could do that.
but because I think he did a really good job in that show. Like
Hmm.
like he does a really good job of that character. So yeah, I think it worked out in the end. Obviously,
Yeah, no, he's doing just fine for himself.
yeah.
I like almost every movie he's in. I like watching.
I think that is pretty much it. There's one other thing: Disney Plus, Hulu getting price increases. I think we
What's
all
Disney?
pretty much.
Do you know what the Disney Plus increases?
I don't remember. Everything's getting a price increase now. Xbox is getting a price increase. PlayStation is.
What's Xbox's price increase gonna be?
Um,
Isn't it
I
20
think it
bucks a
already
month?
happened. I think it already happened. The Game Pass subscription I think went up in price.
Isn't it like 20 bucks a month that gives you your
I
live
don't, I don't
and
even
Game Pass?
remember now. I have it auto renew on my credit card every 3 months.
Yeah, I think. Oh,
I
I'll
know
have to see.
PlayStation. I think PlayStation was like a significant price hike. Like before when they launched it, I'm like, okay, that's like pretty aggressive, and they give you like a very competitive service against Xbox. I'm like, I think that's a really good value that they're offering. Then I guess a lot of people are saying like the price. I haven't really like looked into it, but they're saying like the price increases so much more, where it's like it's crazy. But like all these subscription services, Netflix, um, uh, Disney Plus, all that stuff are just increasing in price, and
Mhm.
I don't think that's going to stop. I think it's going to keep happening. Because from what I hear from like other news places, it's just like um all these streaming services, like the higher up saying that it's not the cash cow we thought it was going to be compared to cable. Um, so they're like trying to think of ways to increase prices, and that includes no more password sharing, higher subscription costs, advertisements in your subscription services.
See, I don't want that.
So
Like the whole reason why I don't fucking watch cable
well, if
is
you
because I
don't, you
don't want.
pay more, so that way you have no or less ads depending on the service that you got to.
No, no.
Your only other option
I'm saying no.
is
No.
sailing the high seas. You know what I mean?
I don't want ads, and I don't want to pay to not have ads.
Yeah. Uh
YouTube.
yeah, so we got even with all these delays and stuff, we got some stuff to look forward to. So we got Loki's happening very soon. But in 2 weeks. So we're gonna be talking about that in 2 weeks.
Two
Wait,
weeks,
wait, are
yeah.
you available? Should we do a look? I don't know if this is enough time. I think it'd probably be enough time for me to binge watch Loki season one. But would you have enough time to binge watch that and then talk about that next week?
Mm, today is now Thursday.
It's now Thursday. Yeah, it's midnight for us.
Maybe if I watch one episode a night.
It's up to you.
Like if I watch an episode tonight, I'll let you know. I'll do my best. I'll probably watch. Maybe I'll try to. I probably won't watch one tonight. Maybe I'll watch an episode of Loki tomorrow. Maybe one Friday night, and then I have Monday, Tuesday off. I could probably watch a couple. See if I can get Jess to watch it. We just finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so we're not really
Oh
watching a
yeah.
show right. We're not really watching a show
Is
right
that
now.
show
So
still going or is that show done?
no, it's done. It's done.
Okay.
I think the last season they did it had some. I think it was like probably 2020 was the
I
last
did
season.
I did watch
It,
up to a certain point,
yeah.
but I think it was I felt like the way I did with like Big Bang Theory. I was just watching it to like I didn't really like love the show.
Yeah, I watched episodes here and there, and I thought it was okay. When I started watching this one, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is really funny." But man, nothing like that show. I think holds like a special place in my heart now. Like I could watch that. Like I love The Office, and I could watch The Office over and
Mhm.
over again. I feel like I could watch this more than The Office, just because this
Yeah.
one is just like funny, instead of like awkward or cringy funny like The Office. Like this
Yeah.
one, like. I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine is the perfect show to watch if you're like if you have like a sad day or a bad day at work, whatever, and you're just like
I
I
can
don't
see
know
that.
out
Yeah.
of it. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is just like always happy, always funny. Like it's just I was like, man, like this is like it's like nothing is ever sad in the show. Like it's always great.
Now,
So like I
are you a true enough Brooklyn Nine-Nine fan where you watched the crossover episode with New Girl and then wanted to watch all of New Girl?
I think they did. I think they. No, I did not watch New Girl, but I think I remember them just talking about the crossover stuff. And
Yeah, there's a crossover episode. It's like in the same week, or I think they aired on the
yeah,
same day. So it was like a back to back, like it was like a crossover thing.
yeah, I think he was in the car with her. I think
Yeah.
I remember that. So I did not watch New Girl, but it honestly was really good. Like in my favorite comedies is gotta be like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Office is like right there, and then I hate laugh tracks, but Friends is really good. I love Friends. The laugh track is just I just can't I hate laugh tracks, man. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is.
Friends is yeah, Friends is a show like I think that's more of like my comfort
Yeah.
show is like I can watch that if it's on.
Big Bang is great too. I watched Big Bang all the way through too. I think just the
Yeah,
newer stuff. I love Big Bang.
I don't think it's a good show. Like I was watching it. I felt like I was
Yeah.
watching it just to watch it. I didn't really think it was a good show. But that's
What about
just me
Corner
personally.
Gas?
That's one
Corner.
I haven't watched, surprisingly. I
Your
feel like
brother,
I'm letting
yeah.
fellow Canadians down by saying that. But
Your
yeah, I
brother
have not.
watches it though, doesn't he? He loves Corner Gas.
I
I
don't
could
know.
have sworn.
He never brings it up.
I thought he watched it. I told him to put it
Maybe.
on Plex for me so I could watch
Okay. Interesting.
it.
Okay.
It
I
should be on there.
remember I had a job where it was I think it was playing on TV like during lunch break.
Mm-hmm.
But I like other than that I'd never really watched it.
Dude, that show is so fucking funny. Oh my god, it's so good.
Okay.
I think I'll tell Jess that'll be my pick. That's what we're gonna watch now. We're gonna watch The Corner Gas all the way through. Monk is another funny comedy detective
Heard
show.
Monk's
That
good, yeah.
Monk's pretty funny. I was gonna make her watch Chuck, but I'm kind of annoyed with the actor, so I don't really want to watch.
Oh,
Chuck
I am
now.
too. But I feel like
Yeah.
I could watch the show probably. Yeah, I can
I just don't
separate
want it right
that.
now, but I'll do it later.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, yeah, like give me some time and then maybe I can
Yeah.
jump back into it. We'll see.
If your brother hasn't watched Black Adam yet, we should all watch Black Adam together just to get so I can get you to watch it because that one was really good too, and I would
Uh,
talk about that.
yeah, I don't know if he'll be up. Talk to his wife. Because I don't know if he'd be up for that.
And I watched The Flash, and I want you to watch it so we can talk about what a shit show that is too.
I want to watch The Flash too. I feel like I should be watching it with them, but
Well, I don't want to watch it with you. It's not good. It's not good enough for me to want to watch the second time. But
oh no,
watch the first 10 minutes.
watch the first 10 minutes and then
the
stop
first 10
watching.
minutes. No, the first 10 minutes are awful.
Okay.
But they're so bad that I just went, oh boy, what did I sign up for? And then the movie got
Yeah.
a little bit better, and then the ending just ruined it completely for me again. I just went, fuck, why did I invest all this time? I went through the
What?
shitty part.
Yeah.
Then it got better, and that kid that we don't like, the Flash guy,
Yeah.
he had a obviously it's you kind of I'm not really gonna spoil it, but he runs into another version of himself.
Yeah.
Kind of
It's in the
kind of know
trailer.
that with,
Yeah.
with Flash time travel. His acting was pretty good. Like it was actually really good. Like I thought I was like, like he was a really good actor through it because I was like, God, I'm gonna fucking hate you. I'm be so annoyed with him. But the two versions of himself, I thought he was really fun. And
Okay.
then I was then the ending of the movie I thought was just and the effects, dude, are so bad. How is
Yeah, I've heard
Marvel
that. I've heard
so
that.
good and
No,
DC's is
they're
so
not.
shit?
They use the same studios and they both do the same practices where they're like, we need this done. We don't know exactly what we want, but we're gonna change it several times, and it's a very specific time crunch, and you need to get it done by this price. And we're gonna make a bunch of changes, but the price isn't negotiable. So that's why like the VFX sucks on both of them. So That's another reason why the VFX workers are trying to unionize.
But the visual effects aren't usually that bad in Marvel. Like maybe
I
the
feel like
shows.
most people would disagree with that from what I've seen online for the more recent stuff specifically.
Yeah, the more recent stuff,
Like
absolutely. But
She-Hulk, Ant-Man, Wasp, Quantumania,
yeah,
what's some of the other like big movies that came out? Um, I know the thing that people, Thor: Love and Thunder. Um,
oh yeah, that was fucking
yeah,
that was hard to
there's like a
watch.
lot of examples that people bring up over like just like bad Marvel CG, and that's
There's some of
the
it
reason
in
for it.
Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness I didn't think was very good either, but
Mm.
I just didn't think.
Yeah, the people bring that up.
I think DC's has been terrible all the way through, whereas um Marvel's was great until like around as soon as
But
like Bat.
you can't focus on Henry Cavill's uh, upper lip where his
Yeah, well,
mustache was. You
yeah.
can't focus. You gotta leave that one out of the conversation, okay?
But it's just I find that crazy that Marvel's is so good. They might have a
Yeah.
one bad thing here and there, but usually it's pretty consistent on except for the new stuff. After Phase 4 or Phase 3 was done, like after Phase 3 it was you could see more and more mess ups, but phase but for DC I'm like, god, why did you guys go with that? That looks awful. I'm like nanotech, Tony
It's
Stark's
it's just
any or
the fact that they need to get the movie out quicker. They don't care if it's
yeah.
mediocre VFX because it's still gonna make money.
Yeah,
You know?
well, yeah, because I think Aquaman I didn't think I liked either. It was really bad. Like I think what was the best one? Probably Suicide Squad, which was James Gunn,
There's a
and
lot
it
of
was really
practical
good.
effects on there though, so there wasn't a
Yeah,
whole lot of CG. There's like King Shark and all that too. Well, I
yeah,
guess there was a lot of CG, but I feel like a big portion of that movie was practical effects and James Gunn knowing how to handle the special effects or like what needs to be done anyway. But
yeah.
um,
Um, I'm at this point. I'm like, yeah, why? Like everyone who's mad at James Gunn for taking over and not happy this direction. I'm like, dude, he's probably gonna fix it. It can't be worse.
like we're not
It's
even
so
seeing James Gunn's work
yeah.
yet, right?
James Gunn said that his favorite movie this year because he didn't want to pick his movie because he's like, I'm not gonna pick my own child. There was a
Yeah.
interview or whatever, or I saw he just tweeted this. I saw him tweeting. Um, but he said The Flash was his favorite movie this year, and I watched it and I just went, "This is hot garbage, dude." I
No,
was like, "This
the
is."
movie that you made was the better movie. The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yes.
That was
This
the better movie. What are you talking about?
no, he said because somebody asked him what his favorite movie was this year, and he said The Flash,
Yeah.
and then somebody said, "Is it how like why didn't you pick Guardians?" He's like, "Well, I'm not gonna pick Guardians because that's like picking my own kid." So
Okay.
he's like aside from my own work, he's like my favorite was The Flash. I was like, dude, it was terrible. The first 10 minutes watching The Flash move,
Yeah.
dude, is so difficult.
Wow.
It's like he's running like this
Yeah.
and then the world's moving around him and it looks so fucking
Yeah, it's the
terrible.
same sort of cheesy effect I've seen
Yeah.
forever. Yeah.
Like a
Uh,
speedster should move like how they did in Eternals. That
it
the chick in
yeah,
Eternals.
Makari. They didn't
Yeah.
slow. It's different. There's two different ways to show um super speed, I guess, that we've seen. It's just the character is a blur,
Yeah.
and you don't really see them doing anything, or everything else is slow, and they're running kind of slow, simulate that they're moving fast.
Yeah.
But
You just do them in a quick
yeah,
slow motion so that you as the audience can see how they're punching somebody in slow
yeah.
motion. But then you immediately just cut with them speeding off really fast, like after, so you know how fast they move. Like they did Quicksilver great. I could tell when he was
Which
moving
Quicksilver
quick.
though, because they did two different methods for both of them. Like
But they both looked good. I trust me.
yeah.
Just the Flash is not.
Okay.
It did a different method. It's not good.
The
Because I was
Fox Quicksilver was the let's slow down everything, and then the Marvel Quicksilver was let's make him really fast.
and I enjoy
Yeah.
both of those.
Yeah.
I enjoy both of those. The Flashes was not
Yeah.
good.
Okay. It's
It was
hard for
like
me to want to invest in the DCU stuff when it's like it's sort of like the comics for me. New 52 happened, which was their like rebooted universe. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna start reading here.
yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we're gonna get rid of New 52 and then start this other thing. I'm like, I'm just gonna stop reading at this point. So it's like it's hard for me to invest. Like, yeah, there's the Flash out. There's Aquaman, Blue Beetle, all this shit, and it's just like, but I know that there's a reboot point that is starting. I don't know when it is because there's like 12 different movies where that could be.
Yeah.
Like it's either it's Creatures Commandos, or it's Superman, or it's the Flash, or it's Blue Beetle, or it's Suicide Squad, or like what the fuck movie or TV show am I supposed to start with at this point for the DCU? So
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. It's hard to invest right now. So it's like I'm waiting for, I think, Creature Commandos to come out to like start investing in the DCU.
Yeah, see,
So
I'm like for Marvel, I'm like I'm gonna watch it because I'm invested and I'm on this train ride. Whereas the
yeah.
DC universe, I'm just getting on and getting off wherever I want to watch a show. Like I watched the first Wonder Woman. I didn't watch the
Yeah.
second. I watched the first Aquaman. It was so long and boring. I barely remember it, and I'm not gonna watch the second one. Um, I watched The Flash only because I had nothing else to do that day, and I thought it was just
Yeah.
okay. It was like there's parts that I liked. Uh, Jesus.
I think like I don't know if it's really worth like me watching these things.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Black Adam
I'm
was good.
curious about the James Gunn stuff because
Yeah.
I want to see Creatures Commandos because I like animation and that sounds like it's a really crazy team series that I think I'd want to get into.
Yeah.
And then I'll want to check out Superman. I'm not a big Superman fan, but I'll want to check out Superman because it seems like that's the start of the movies is going to be Superman.
Yeah, yeah, I'll watch it when he comes out with it. Like Black Adam was good though. I'm not really sure where that's gonna fit into or if it's just scrap
It's
now or
not
whatever,
like,
but
yeah, that's
I think
scrap. That's like I don't know if I want to watch it. You know?
it was good though. Like just the
Yeah,
movie itself was good. Like you don't watch the end credit scene then because it just adds Superman to it.
I've
It
heard.
add
Yeah.
Yeah, it adds Superman and it has the chick from Suicide Squad at the end of it, or maybe she's in the movie. I
Oh,
don't
Amanda
know.
Waller.
Yeah, has her in it too. But the Suicide Squad was so good. Like that was great. But the first one not good. Like the DC is just back and forth between not good or not good.
Yeah,
Like I think Shazam was okay. I haven't seen the second one. Um, I want to watch Blue Beetle. That looks really good. I actually just tried
that
to put
looks
it on the
fun.
other day, but it wouldn't load perfectly. But I really want to watch Blue Beetle. I think that one. I'm excited. I hope it's good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
I don't have a lot of faith on the like the pre gun stuff, but we'll see.
yeah,
Yeah. So we got as I was gonna say, we got Loki coming up. We're gonna try to do the weekly stuff for that. We got the Marvels coming up in November, right? I think.
the
I don't
Marvels, the
remember.
movie.
The Marvels, yeah.
It wasn't something that got delayed.
Dates
I thought it was
change. Dates change so often. No, that one's not delayed. That
okay.
one's coming out. And I think everything else. There was another show, right? Oh, yeah, Echo. Echo was delayed. Was that the only other thing? Yeah.
Echo was January, and Hark.
Yeah, and then What If was delayed. So I think really okay, we only really got two things to look forward to then, right? Is
We got
Loki
Loki,
and then
Marvels, and
the
then
Marvels.
What If isn't until like about Christmas Day, roughly.
Oh yeah, that's right. So that's still happening soon. It's just delayed.
Yeah,
And then what's in January? I said something's in January, right?
that's Echo, I believe. Echo is
No, that
January.
was Echoes in January. Okay,
Yeah, I think
there's a
so.
little bit of okay. They spread it out a little bit. We were gonna have like a lot of stuff all like back to back, but I guess they're spreading it out a little bit. So cool, gives us a
Yeah.
little bit of time, I guess. But I think that's gonna be it for us. So, thanks for watching. I really don't know what else to say at this point. But Loki is coming up. Maybe we'll have a discussion next week if we can make it. Otherwise, we'll be back in 2 weeks, roughly. Talk about Loki season 2. Looking forward to that. Let us know. Yep.
Go watch Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Don't promote stuff. We can't promote stuff.
Oh.
Because of the strikes.
Go watch
We're not promoting that. But
go watch that.
Let us know what you thought of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse after you watch it or don't watch it in the comments. And then we'll be back here soon. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Bye.
See you.